you doing today? This is Major Pete. I'm here to give my thoughts and review on the Tacon 2950 kV brushless motor. I got this motor at hobbyparts.com for about $30 shipped to my door. I tested this motor in my son's Slash using some of Hobby Parts blue lipos, some that I ordered from them a while back and got shipped to me fairly quickly by them. They're blue lipos. They're 4000 mAh 20C lipos. I also tested it with Traxxas's 3000 mAh power cell that comes with the Slashes in the box. We have quite a few of these actually. I also tested it with an unknown 5000 mAh pack that I bought from the hobby shop for my sons, just so they'll have extra run time, and it came in pretty handy and actually produced the longest run times with this motor by a few minutes over the lipos. The temperatures I was getting from the motor during testing were somewhat considered to be high, but lately here in North Carolina we've been having a heat wave of sorts to come through, which pushed our temperatures up into high 90s. So it was the temperatures were also acceptable for the motor. Most of the time it was in the 160s to 160, in between 150 and 170 when I was done testing it with a bunch of different gearings from 2390 all the way down to 1590, 2383, using all these batteries. And I must say, for a $25 motor, I was fairly impressed by it. There was a few things I didn't like about it here, and I'm going to show it to you right quick. The motor wires are actually very stiff and short. They're very tough, very hard to shape, and from what I'm understanding from information off the forums, of course, not actual information from any of the companies, manufacturers, is that these wires are actually part of the coil that's inside of the motor, and this coil coming out is actually part of the length of the coil on the inside. So what you don't want to do is damage these wires too bad. You don't want to cut them to try to extend them to get extra motor length, to get extra wire length. So what I had to do is I added extra length to my ESC, if you can see that there, to my mama ESC. See if I can rip it up right quick for you. I added extra length to the ESC and not the motor. So if you're gonna get one of these motors and you need to add extra wire, I would suggest adding it to from the ESC side of things. It's fairly easy to mount up. You need to solder on the, I guess what they call the banana plugs that come with the motor. You need to solder them up to the ESC side of things, and it's pretty much a straight shot to take it and mount it up inside of a Slash or any other 1/10 scale, I would believe. It's a great motor for somebody on a budget that believes that they can't afford to go brushless right now. They also have some ESCs that were made along with this and will give you a fairly inexpensive set to go along with. So I like this motor, and it also, another thing I also didn't like, I forgot to mention, it has a somewhat of a hole on each side, an opening. It's a fairly large opening around where the wires come out of the motor that I didn't care for, that could easily be filled in with shoe glue or something of that silicone base that could fill in that hole and and get the motor good and sealed up. Y'all gotta excuse me. This is my first time doing a video review, so I am kind of trying to make sure that I'm giving out decent information. But it's a good motor for a good price. I would suggest it for anybody who's trying to get into brushes, like I said, at a cheaper price than some of the more expensive racing packages or high performance packages that's on the market right now. It's only a 2950 kV motor, so it's a lower kV motor, and compared to, say, my Valenian, it is a tad bit slower on the top end, at top speed, but the torque is if not better, right on line with my Valenian motor. It comes out, it has so much power coming out of the hose, so much torque coming out of the hose. It's pretty amazing, actually. I actually sat there and shot it out the hose a bunch of times just watching it, because it was just it's pretty strong out of the hole. But on the top end side, it is a little bit slower than the 3500 kV from Traxxas, but that's because it loses that extra 500 kV on the top end, and you could gear it up to try to match it. But if you're doing parking lot type racing or drag racing with your buddies and they're running Valenians and 5700s from Castle, then I would suggest maybe moving up on the kV a little from the 2950 to maybe one of their, I believe they have a 3500 kV, and I would really suggest doing that if you're doing a parking lot style racing. But the best gearing I like this gear. I like 1590 with this. It gives it a ton of torque, and it's easy to get around my backyard track, and it's a monster torque. It got monster torque, and for the temperatures to stay in the 160 area in almost 100 degree weather, I'm very happy with that. I'll be able to use it a lot during the winter time with no problem gearing it up to the moon. And it's a good motor, and it's worth the $25. It's seriously worth that. It's actually worth more than that. But this is Major P, and that's my thoughts on it. I believe what is believed to be pronounced Tacon or Tacon 96 M26. It's 2950 kV motor, and that's my thoughts on it. And I thank you for watching the video. And subscribe, yeah, do subscribe. Thank you.